rolling.
Mongo said he's starving this morning.
He's starving.
But I don't think that word means what you think it means.
What do you look for?
The
measuring cup?
Yeah.
That I didn't see.
He's about to have fried rice.
I didn't see the measuring cup anywhere. Here it is.
Bastard Sebastian.
Little Sebastian.
Oh, it's just fucking popping and burning. Make the top.
Definitely heated it up good. Puffy rice. Like
yeah.
What were those sugar snatcher puffs that had the frog and get the cereal?
Yeah, sugar smacks.
Have those anymore?
I don't know, man. I haven't been down a fucking cereal aisle in forever.
I haven't either. I used to like that fucking frog on the commercial. Be like, oh yeah, and throwing up the peace signs.
Every now and then I'll get a box of cereal because I want a bowl of cereal. And then months later I'll go and it's gone because Sebastian ate it or Cody ate it. Cody, if there's cereal in the house, Cody will eat cereal.
Yeah.
All the time. So one of the guys out there was saying his mom goes to Seventh-day Adventist Church or Jehovah's Witness. I don't know what it was. But, you know, he's been working out, lost a bunch of fat, gained a bunch of muscle. He's got vascularity and muscle tone and shit. And he said that last week, the preacher or pastor, I don't know what they have at their church, what they call it, they had some guest speaker in because, you know, there's a lot of vegetarians there. And they were talking about how supplements and protein is bad for you and tried to show how it's, you know, part of the devil's work and against Scripture. So she's been giving him shit about the protein he's taking. I said, well, of course it is.
Against Scripture, yeah, fuck being a good steward of your body.
Because they want you to not spend your money on supplements and health shit so that you can tithe more to that church. And that's exactly what it is. He said, plus, the church has their own line of supplements and vitamins and shit.
That's what it is. It's more
profit.
that than...
Yeah, it's profit.
It's more that.
But we were talking, I said, you know, we could fuck... I always joke about starting a church, but it's not really a joke. Like, I used to go to church all the time. My dad was a pastor of a Baptist church growing up. We were fucking at church 3-4 days a week. I've spent a lot of time in church, in different churches and different religions and stuff. And I said, you know, we could start a church out at the compound on Sundays and have guest speakers come from other churches. I said, but you know what would happen? Those guys would come in and give a great scripture, and we'd talk and let it go wherever it needs to go, and however, you know, people want to, you know, kind of lead the discussion. But the church that they belong to would give them grief about coming out and giving scripture at our church.
You know, that's
because they would see it as a threat, because we don't have a big building, we're not taking tithing, we're not putting out the offering plate, but they would see it as a threat because their people are going to cross deck. They're going to want to come over and listen to, and it could be the exact same scripture they gave them the week before. But they would give those pastors grief about coming out and talking at our place.
You know what, though? You're going to find that regardless.
Sure you are. You're going to find it in any industry.
And especially with churches, different denominations and so forth.
So make it non-denominational.
Non-denominational.
They'll still have a problem with it.
But you know what? It doesn't matter. You got these guys that are traveling, you know, evangelists or missionaries or whatever that speak. And I actually know quite a few from when I did Young Life and everything, because it was a parachurch organization. But that was one of the biggest problems I had with getting volunteers and stuff and people from other churches and stuff, because they thought we were after the kids of the pew dwellers, which we weren't. We were trying to add to it, but it's yeah. A lot of people have that mindset of,
like, we got a buddy comes in here. He's a pastor. We know another pastor here that has his own church here. Would they come speak at our church?
You know John Dunn.
John Dunn.
Tactical pastor. He could come in.
John Dunn would come in and talk.
I would talk.
You would.
Yep.
And we got a buddy. I'm not going to name him because I don't want to bring any grief to him. But he would love to come out. He would talk. The more kids, the better. The more people, the better. But I'll bet you it would cause turmoil within his family and within the church. And it's sad.
Well, you know what's sad about that is because if the church is really doing what it's supposed to be doing, and edifying and building up and lifting up and helping people live a better life and quality of life, you know, true to the design and everything, they should be happy because that's a target audience that they're not freaking reaching inside their walls.
But that's not their interest.
Right, exactly.
Their interest is bringing them into their walls.
Right.
And that's not all of them. But
that is a good majority of them.
I don't know how many churches we have here, but I'll bet you we got over 120 of them just in Benton County.
Yeah.
That's the biggest industry in the world. Church, death, sex. And it's sad that, and unfortunately it is an industry. It's a money-making industry. That's why you have these big, huge mega churches. Why would you? You can hold it apart for free.
Yeah.
People,
you can put that money
out there
in
with umbrellas,
and this and that, and da-da-da, and
put that money back into your congregation.
And there are churches that, you know,
yes, there are.
And like you said, they're good. I mean, and I've been a member of several different good churches, you know, through the years growing up and everything. I've also been a part of some bad ones.
Sure.
You know, but you know what I've found, I guess just in my personal experience in watching, is that, well, one of the things that Jesus talked about the most, one of the biggest topics was money. He talked about money a lot, and about where your heart is, there your treasure is, and everything, you know. And a lot of people, it is money. And I found in my experience with a lot of churches, and not a lot, with some churches, different churches, but that were focused on the money side of it more, and it was apparent. Like, I've been in a church where they passed the offering plate 2 different times because they didn't
3 times
because they didn't get enough. And I'm talking a major church that is on worldwide TV and everything, and I was so fucking struck by that and embarrassed by. I mean, I was just visiting. I was traveling and went to church on a Sunday. I was in Ohio, and but there's a lot of that. But in the experiences that I've seen, if you sit back and watch, you usually find some sexual scandals or something, and I'm not saying with it, but there are things like that, you know, or just where things just aren't on the up and up and stuff like that, and the money is not being handled properly and everything, and there really isn't any accountability.
There's times when I've gone to church and I was used to church because, you know, I was expected to be at church, or because it's what we were doing. We were going to church every Sunday. And you go there thinking about a bunch of other things, so you weren't really open to that message. And depending your mindset that day, that message can mean a bunch of different things to you. The person next to you hears something completely different than what you heard. It's what path you're on that day. But I've been there. We went to a church. I had a lot of fun there. Mm-hmm. But I was in the church, and it seemed like it was a fucking paid infomercial.
Yeah. Half
of it. There was a 30-minute block of what you should be there for, and there was another hour's worth of just fucking, this is what we're doing, and more money, more money, more money, more money, more money. It was constantly fucking just begging for fucking money. And that's great. Fucking pulling all that money together to build these water filters for fucking Fiji or wherever. What about the fucking people in your immediate community? Mm-hmm. What about fucking doing something for them? Why are we pooling all this money together to send it out of the fucking United States? Is there a motherfucker outside the United States sending any of that money inside the United States? There's not.
Well, now you got an email last week.
Look where all our fucking food goes.
You got an email last week for how many millions or billions?
Right. But you had to have $250,000 to get that $60 million.
Damn. There's always a catch. There's always a hitch. Yeah, but you know what though? I've also been in churches where they were doing things, you know, and asking for, but they were actually doing things in the community. Like when I lived in Joplin for a little bit after the tornado hit and stuff. I mean, you know, that tore up that whole town and stuff. And there was a lot of churches there that were doing a lot of good in the local community.
That town, yeah.
Whereas the city manager and so forth, and I don't want to get into all that because I think there's an investigation going on and some other things about federal grant monies and stuff and how it was misused. Yeah.
Unallocated, misallocated.
Exactly. So, I mean, you find it, you know, across the board. I think it kind of goes back to the same thing. Just like JC said, you know, where your heart is, there your treasure is also. And it doesn't, not whether it's in church or not, but...
Yeah, that's my point to it. It doesn't have to be in church.
Yeah.
We can get fucking 4 of us together that want to have that conversation and talk about it on Sunday. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be Sunday, but let's say Sunday.
Right.
You're going to have more people. When people find out, people are going to show up. the like-minded people that want to hear, the people that don't want to be in that setting, don't want to put on that tie, don't want to listen to that music for fucking 45. There's people that go to church because of the bands.
Right.
There are fucking awesome bands. My next door neighbor, Lance Dashel, John Dashel, his father, amazing artist. Like, whatever he's doing today, he shouldn't be doing it. He should be producing and making music because he's a wonderful musician.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one that got me to go back to church because of the band. That's what interested me, and that's what got me in that door to go back there. But there's, you know, some people just aren't into that. They don't have 2 hours to sit at church.
Right.
You can go and do it in 30 minutes and get the message. But
Right.
sometimes it takes the other things to open you up to that message.
Right, to get your
warm you
heart
up
and your
for it.
mindset correct and ready so you can lay down everything else you've been dealing with all week or whatever.
Like, I didn't have any plans to talk about this. I don't even know how we got on it. But it just seems that I keep going back to it over and over and over over the last, you know, few months.
Yeah.
And it was just, you know, my guy out there brought it up today because of, we were talking about, you know, just religion. You know, we've got,
See, I hate religion.
you can't drive down any road here and not see a church. Literally, I don't think there's a road
I
in
agree with
Benson
you.
County that you can drive end to end and not see a church. And most
And
of
if
them
you
you
see
see
one,
4
you're
or
going to
5.
see, exactly, I'm gonna say, if you see one, you're going to see several. And it's on just about every road, like you said.
Like when I used to go I'd eat breakfast at a place here. I spent years eating breakfast there every day. Breakfast and oftentimes lunch. I'd eat 2 meals a day there. And the lady that owned it was very, very churchy. But she was touchy-feely and churchy, but when you walk out the door, she'd be talking behind your back. She was involved in everybody's business, everybody's business but her own. She's at church Sunday and Wednesday and had her kids in church and oh, holy Jesus. But she'd be the first one to talk shit. Fucking just two-faced.
She can't remove the plank out of her own eye to see clearly enough to get the splinter out of
Yeah,
yours.
always fucking worrying about somebody else's shit.
Yeah. I hate religion.
I've never been back there. I don't dine there anymore. I'll never put another dollar of my money, my business there. And it's sad because it's one of the best breakfast places, really the only breakfast place here in town. And the day I said I'll never go there again, I have never been there again. I won't ever go there again.
Yeah, Tasha and I were going to go to church this last Sunday, actually. And we picked one that we were going to try or whatever and drove there and drove up, didn't even pull in the parking lot and saw, you know, the guys that were standing out front, the greeters and stuff and everything. Yeah. But just when I saw them and everything else and the way they were dressed and everything, you know, and I was just like...
They're gonna give
so I circled the building and I was like, no, I'm not going. Then I started to go again. And we ended up not going. We went to Paris instead and went to Lowe's and stuff like that and did church in the car on the way there, you know? Because I just don't want to deal with all the religion. I like relationship, not religion.
Rusty Fuller goes to a church in Paris.
Yeah.
This seems very much like the church I went to in San Diego. It's kind of a rock and roll type church.
More contemporary.
You should, yeah. You can go however you're dressed. There's people in there in shorts and flip flops.
Exactly.
And you should talk to Rusty about it. It's in Paris, but it's a drive.
Still, well, hey, a church alive is worth the drive. Yeah, I like relationship, but I hate religion. Religion sucks. And in fact, JC had a biggest problem with religious people. You know, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the scribes. Those are the ones that he had a problem with. And he did go to church. If you study the Bible and everything, he did go to church, as was his custom on Sunday. But if you look at all the things that he taught and everything, where did he teach it and stuff like that? Usually like on the Mount of Olives, stuff like that. He was with his homeboys, with his disciples and the crowd that was following and everything. He wasn't in the church with all the religious
behind
people.
closed doors because they'd kill you.
Exactly. Yeah, he wasn't with, you know, all that. I mean, and I'm not saying to abandon the church, no, but I don't think that a lot of places church is done the way it's supposed to be. It was originally intended to be going. So I think that's a great idea. I think you should start a church. Or just even, maybe not even a church, but like a time of fellowship and study, you know?
I didn't know John Dunn was a tactical preacher.
Yeah, tactical pastor.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I know both of them. I knew the name separate. I did
Right.
not know that was John Dunn.
Oh yeah. Yeah. John Dunn's a good dude. I like him. He's a good guy.
So you think Colin's ready to be back?
I don't know. I saw him.
I don't fucking care. I'm ready for him to be back, so that's all that really matters.
I saw his post yesterday on the comments on the video. I didn't watch the video, but I saw the comment where he said,
I miss my boys.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I saw it. He must have tagged us into it because I saw it too.
The
Smoke free? Nope.
we'll whip some up here in a little bit.
Yeah. Nah, I'll be fine with that. Like, I just wanted it while I was doing this.
We're going to do it now? Won't be able to hear anything with the grinder going on.
Yeah. So the glass on the building's done. They're literally ready to install it, I guess. The stairwell's done. I don't know where it's at, but it's done. We were out there yesterday.
The spiral? Or?
Yeah. We were out there yesterday. They had the wall all apart. They put the new door in, so the old door's going to the back.
Okay, yeah.
So there'll be an actual door to go out the back without having to roll up. There was, before we bought the building sat vacant for so long, and there was a lot of theft. And the people literally had camped out there. They had toilet paper in there and mattresses and shit, and they were held up in there while they were stripping all the copper out. They spent weeks pulling copper out of that place.
And they think somebody died.
They think somebody died there. There's a big arc on the box where they had tried to cut, and all the power dudes, every time we've had a dude on site, an electrician or a dude from the electrical company, they see that big arc on the box and they're like, somebody die here? That's the first question they always ask. They're like, there's no way somebody didn't die right there. And when the insurance investigators came in before we owned the building, the insurance payoff on the copper, just the materials, not labor, was $70,000. And they put a bunch of copper back in, and we have put in probably another 70 grand just on our own, just in wiring and outlets and electrical and shit. So there was major power was stolen out of there wire-wise, and the insurance investigator said, man, there's no reports of any electrical accidents like this in the last couple of years around here. So wherever this dude is, missing an arm or whatever, his buddies fucking buried him. There's a motherfucker buried someplace, hidden somewhere, that got fucking Billy Bob got zapped and knocked all his teeth out or whatever happened. But anyways, they had welded all the doors closed to make it harder to get into the building. So we're going through now and replacing all the new front doors and taking the front doors, which still function, and replacing the back doors that are all welded shut with them. So it's moving along. They got all the red steel up over the cardio bay yesterday.
Oh, okay.
All in one day.
How's
all that work was all.
Isn't that crazy how that works out?
They did a shitload. It was visibly different in there yesterday.
Nice.
Last night when I went in there. We'll go over there today.
They got the ceiling up under the bathroom now, or
in the bathroom?
No, under.
The drain.
Because the painter, I saw the painter was there. So
the painter's in. Painter was sanding. He said, How much do you want this sanded? I said, I don't fucking know. You're the painter. How much does it need to be sanded? I said, we're going to be in here for fucking another 100 years, hopefully, before we fucking work on this motherfucker, so let's do it right the first time.
Right.
I said, if you think that's enough sanding, throw some paint on that bitch and see what it looks like. And he did. Yeah, last night they put the first coat. He said he'll have the whole thing. I think they will be done painting in there in 3 days, I think he said. So,
wow. Then that means Rusty get ready to start.
Rusty's shit's done.
Oh, is he all started up now or fired up?
Fuller?
Yeah.
It's done. They're literally, they got filters in place and everything. They just haven't set their thermostats.
Okay.
So those units can't be turned on because there's so much dust still. They've still got a concrete sand, and they're still sanding inside.
Oh, because they still got to put the floor on.
There's a lot of shit going on still. And once that shit is in those air intakes, it will never come out.
Right.
So those units, they test fired them in the middle of the night one night, and everything's ready to go, and they pulled their thermostats off
so they can't
be turned on.
Gotcha.
That's you.
Okay, thank you. What did you decide on the floor down there? Are you going to do with like the big?
Dude, I think we're going hospital tile.
I think that's your best bet.
Just because it's with an industrial commercial tile like that, we can have a company come in every 90 days or every 6 months, and we can push all the shit to one side. They can strip that bitch, wax it. We come in the morning and it's got brand new wax done. As they chip or break, we can replace them. Whereas an epoxy, when we cut them,
it's durable as hell.
It's not a 25-year product, but then again, it's also not a $30,000 floor.
Right.
And it's something that at any point we can.
Well, in 25 years, you can change it if you want.
Yeah. So I think that's where we're going with that.
I think that's a smart idea. I think that's a good idea.
It's just something that we can manage. And the biggest part is we can have a commercial company come in and maintain that shit. It's something that we don't have to do. We can't. You
don't have to store a freaking buffer and a waxer or the chemicals or.
I don't have a motherfucker. I don't have time to have my people clean a fucking bathroom, much less take off their main job to clean. So I definitely don't have time to have them fucking maintain a floor. Like those days of the janitor position and shit, those days are gone. They don't exist anymore. Those fucking jobs where a dude was getting fucking $30 an hour to do a teenager's job, those are gone. Those jobs don't exist. They're not fucking ever coming back.
There's too many third-party companies that's what they do.
And if you got money to pay a fucking janitor, then we'll pay that into manufacturing and labor. So we'll outsource that. We'll have a company come in, licensed, bonded. When they fuck it up, it's not our problem. It's not our fucking deal that we gotta fucking fix.
Yeah. I think that's a smart move. So any idea when you're looking at starting up your lab to see like a tentative time frame?
And hopefully in a couple weeks here we'll put some machines down there. We'll put the shelving in, build the fucking first wall, put the machines in there and see how loud it is upstairs. And that's only going to get, whatever it's added, it's only going to get quieter with flooring in place. And white noise generators. And whale sounds.
I ordered a iridium foil hat to wear.
I ordered a redwood forest, so there'll be woodpeckers in there making natural sound and
thunderstorms.
Rainforests make their own weather.
Speaking of forests, like we have so many squirrels and shit out at the house.
Yeah.
Rocco used to go ape shit like at my old house stuff. If a squirrel got in the yard, he was on that shit like that.
Now he's
and for about the first 2 weeks, he was.
He was here too, man.
Yeah. Now he's just like, squirrels are up on the railing on the deck, eating their acorns and shit, and digging in the potted plants stuff. And he's just like, no fucks given.
When you went back the first time, and I had Rocco for a week while you were gone, Rocco would typically walk out and get in the truck, and we'd go to work. Well, he saw a squirrel, and he chased that motherfucking squirrel out of the state of Tennessee.
I believe it.
It took us fucking 2 hours to get Rocco.
Yeah, now he's just not even amused by that.
And Rocco, you can't just be like, oh, I'll come back and get Rocco, because Rocco will have organized all the other dogs in the neighborhood, and you'll come back and it'll be like
posse.
It'll be like Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, we'll have a posse. Definitely. Oh. Yeah, he doesn't care about the squirrels anymore.
Feed them, man. Feed them, give them places to nest. You might need to eat them motherfuckers one day.
Oh, dude, we got
I know.
about 6 different nests and 3 trees in the backyard that I can see.
Keep them there and out of your house, because they'll get up under the eaves and inside the walls. You'll hear them. They're there already, I guarantee it.
I need to get rid of those find out where those damn big yellow jacket wasp or whatever that. Yeah,
they're everywhere.
I've seen another one.
So like in California, you could crawl for miles through like manzanita scrub brush and shit, and the worst you might ever get is a tick. You might pull a tick off of you. You move to Tennessee and you get out of the car. The first time we got here, it was nighttime, and there was just bugs. Voo, voo, voo. You're like, what's that noise? I remember Jaeger he's like, that's bugs, man. You get out in the woods here. You get out in the woods here in Tennessee. Every bug out there will fucking bite you, crawl under your skin, lay eggs in you, or try to fucking eat you. Like, you cannot crawl through bushes. And like in California, we had cactus, but you could pretty much see them. There wasn't a cactus growing in a fucking field of brush, so you pretty much knew where the thorns were. I remember going out to the range the first time I was on a little dirt bike and went blasting through some bushes, and the fucking bush line grabbed me and literally cut me like I probably needed sutures and shit from the thorn bushes. Every fucking 50% of the plants here have fucking thorns. They're literally like roses that don't produce any flowers. Yeah, perfect example. Fucking, we're both cut up yesterday just from walking through the goat pen.
Let's see what I get. Yeah, I can.
You know what would make this a lot better?
Goat. I'm gonna no. I'm just no. So what we got here is eggs and stuff, and kind of like a tactical smoke screen, because we know Pablo's gonna watch this. So Pablo, here's what we're having. We're just having the.
Pablo's not the one I'm worried about.
We're having the rice. What kind of rice is it again?
Basmati.
Basmati rice with some egg whites and two egg yolks, 2 whole eggs in ours, right? In each one of ours. So that's what we got, yeah. John's just warming his up because it got cold while...
Eggs are a delivery unit for cheese. That's what Jaeger said. Pancakes are a delivery unit for syrup.
I like that.
I like that as well. Alright, well, I guess we'll cut this shit off. Unless you got something else to tell them.
No, have a good day, man. It's Tuesday. Tomorrow's hump day. Go ahead and get your pregame hump on. I'm saying.
Turn that shit off.
All right.